morning. I got a little bit of Kevin hair right now, but hey, happy Saturday. Welcome to a new edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. And this is something that we're adding for the fall. So we thought, hey, wake up with us on Saturday as we test out our fall program, which is still in the works. And we'll explain that in a minute. But for today, yeah, it's a what do we call this? It's double trouble in Baltimore. You got the Ravens at noon. Orioles play this evening. I believe it's 7 p.m. Should be a lot of fun. But what we're also going to do is we're going to touch on this Ravens-Falcons game, which is going to be in Baltimore at M&T Bank. And then we'll go around the NFL, some storylines, touch on a little bit of fantasy, and maybe some fun over and unders. There's some numbers, fellas, as far as what Vegas thinks some Ravens can do, and especially what we think the Ravens can do in this certain system. Derrick Henry is a popular name that's going around in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
But, guys, I'm ecstatic. So why don't I just explain this? But first off, let me explain who's with us right now in studio. We got Brad behind, making it work. How we doing, Brad? Good morning.
Doing good. I tell you what, I had low expectations going into the stream. There's about 23 people in here, which is about 20 more than I expected. So shout out to you guys for waking up with us this morning and watching the show.
Yeah, and you know what I think, too? We weren't expecting – this is really just a test run. And when we have the bar coming in a week or two, we're going to actually – I'm going to be standing up, not sitting here. This place is going to look way different, but who's not going to look different in 2 to 3 weeks? That's going to be Zach Bollinger. He's going to have the same hat on.
I might shave, though, so who knows? I don't know. Maybe just go back to the mustache.
Speaking of
game day, though,
since this is our test run.
Yeah, test run.
2 things about you. You got hair sticking up.
Yep.
Right. Zach, can you see it? I mean,
yeah, you do.
Which hair?
It's like it's blending in with the background, but it's up. It's still there. No, it's not in the back.
It's where your part is in the front.
Oh, well, I look good.
You just messed it up even more.
You know, maybe it's the one day.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Let's just do that.
Welcome to the Masters. This is the one day. It's the one day I'm just going to wear a hat then. How about that?
That works. Right? And then move the mic a little bit closer to you as well.
I'm getting it up there. Get it up.
There we go.
Saturday
all right.
Morning.
Yep. Very good. Now we're good.
Well, we're good. All right. So let's talk about this for a second here. We're really excited. And obviously you can see we got another sponsor that we're going to start showing off, and they are going to be a big sponsor for us for giveaways during the fall. That's right there, right behind me. That's Deep Eddy Vodka. We got a lot of things planned for them, especially for Ravens home games. So stay tuned for that. They are a gracious sponsor for us. They're helping us a lot with the bar, and we're going to have a lucky fan giveaway for every single Ravens home game. That's just one of the things, Brad, we got working for this fall. So we can't wait. Ollie's also in the building here. So if you see a pup strolling around the screens, it's bring your pup to work day once again here at the Ryan.
He's become quite the studio dog.
He is a studio dog. He's a studio pup, voted best studio pup in 2024. And I think
was not biased at all.
No bias at all. So cannot wait. All right, guys, let's talk about it because we really been so entrenched in football, and rightfully so.
Baseball.
Rightfully so. Baseball. Yeah, right. Baseball. Tomato. Why don't we talk a little bit about this game at noon and the Ravens and the Falcons? And we know it's preseason. We're prefacing all of this preseason, but soon enough, it's not. September 5th is emerging, and there's a lot of players that are going to be playing this game. Some you might know, some you might know, some you might not. And I hate saying that preseason doesn't matter. We know that the Ravens have a lot of positions set.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys are fighting for their jobs. And specifically, there are some places that the Ravens are still trying to figure out on their team, and same with the Falcons. So why don't we start with this? Let's do a little bit of a background with both teams. Okay. We know about the Ravens. You know the same characters. Lamar Jackson's going to be the quarterback for the season. Mark Andrews is back healthy. You have Flowers, Bateman on offense. And then defense, you know what you have. You have the safety specialist with Kyle Hamilton. Marcus Williams should be healthy. You sign Eddie Jackson. You got Justin Madubuike. So all those familiar names, probably not going to see a lot of them, if any of them, today. But there was some changes. Probably the offensive line is the biggest question mark in a couple positions, Zach.
Yeah.
Specifically, there's 2 positions we're eyeing.
Yeah, I think right now the right guard and right tackle are their biggest competitions right now. Daniel Falalele and Ben Cleveland going in right guard, and then over in right tackle, Roger Rosengarten, the rookie, versus Patrick McCarry. It really is those 2 positions. Obviously, then you have third string running back is up between Rasheen Ali and Owen Wright. There's more depth position battles elsewhere, but if you're looking for starters to wonder who is going to be out there week 1, it's really going to be that right side of the offensive line. Personally, I think Andrew Voorhees has locked up the left guard spot as long as he can stay healthy. And out there, I think they really love his game. I think Ben Cleveland probably has the upper hand on the right guard spot right now. And then over at right tackle, I think they would prefer Rosengarten just to kind of take that competition as the rookie. You would love to see him go out and excel, but it is still a competition. If McCarry is the way to go week 1, they have no problem doing that. So that's really the 2 position battles that I'm looking at, is you want to see how those guys are doing against the Falcons today.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where it is. It's the depth. And at some point, though, in general, you're going to need these guys. And that's why when you're talking about with the third running back position or with the Ravens offensive line, the biggest thing is, can you have the right pieces in place that opens up holes for Derrick Henry, can protect Lamar Jackson? So it will be fun to see. But can we talk about another note before we even talk a little bit more about the football side? I thought the Ravens did something really awesome the other day. And I don't know if you guys saw that when they were unveiling their press box.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I'm going to pull this up for it. Kevin Byrne, one of their longtime executives, especially their communications executive. Let me pull it up right here. No, that's the wrong video, Ryan. This is why we're doing the test run. That's exactly why. It's perfect. But let's pull this up. So, which was awesome is that the Ravens announced in a surprise ceremony at M&T Bank that the venue's new press box is going to be named after Kevin Byrne, and which was more incredible with this whole thing. So they didn't tell him ahead of time. He just went there. They were touring, and then it was unveiled. It was a genuine, authentic reaction. And if you heard him speak, we're not going to pull up his comments on it, but you could see the genuine authenticity of how honored he felt, the emotion of it. So I thought that was really cool. We know the Ravens have had some different renovations with the stadium. We can talk about that as we get closer, but I would think that people will enjoy that. But for the time being, this was something really cool to see. Brad.
Yes.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
Is this rain going to stop?
Yeah. Am I going to be the designated weatherman this year?
You might.
You have the forecast?
We, you know what? Maybe we need to have a weather sponsor here as we get closer.
We just put it right up there on the
big old board.
The big old board, yeah.
We might.
Could do that.
We might. Well, it was pouring this morning.
I'm no meteorologist, but I can we can have fun with it. That's for sure.
Oh, we can definitely have fun with it. And British Raven, yep, I guess it's classic British weather in Baltimore.
This is probably actually the best time for British Raven for us. Like 9 a.m. It's what, like 1 there? I'm doing math right. Is it like 1 o'clock? British Raven is like 1. So like it just for us, it's a morning. It's just a midday stream for him.
I think it's 6 hours ahead, 6 or 7. So it'd be either 12:16 or
it's 2:16 there.
Oh, I have my. That's a whole different story. But when I got this computer, I left it on Pacific time.
So your computer's
so it's 6:16 a.m. on my computer.
All right.
That's how we do things here at the Ryan Ripken Show. Yep, speechless. Well, how about this with the Ravens? We talked a little bit about their situation. Let's talk about the team that's coming to Baltimore, the Falcons. And the Falcons had a lot of moves this offseason. Captain Kirk Cousins coming back to the region. For those that remembered, he was the quarterback for the Commanders right down the road at FedEx Field. But now, went from Minnesota to a Falcons team that's got a lot of talent. New head coach. They got some really good pieces on offense. But I think the recent news is that the Falcons have a former Raven that they just acquired, and now he's a former Patriot. Matthew Judon traded to the Falcons to improve their pass rush, improve their defense. They also signed Justin Simmons. Guys, I think it's fair to say I don't think we see either of those guys play today.
No chance.
But
not a shot.
But the Falcons in a wide open NFC South, they right now could be the favorites. Brad, you think that they're the favorites to win this division?
I do. There just isn't a whole lot of talent in the NFC South, as we all know. The Saints are kind of a mess. The only thing that I could think that could stand up next to the Falcons at this point would be the Bucs, but we'll have to see what the Bucs do on the defensive side. We still don't know what their run game looks like. You got Bijan Robinson, you got Mike Penix Jr. also is their backup, which we will probably see play today. But look, I mean, I think with the pieces that they've added in the offseason, that the Falcons look really good. And I think that we're going to see a much different Falcons team that we saw last year, especially if Kirk Cousins stays healthy. I know that he's not the quarterback that he used to be, but at the end of the day, you got that veteran presence in there that the Falcons haven't had in quite some time, really, since Matt Ryan. So kind of excited to see what the Falcons actually produce this year.
Yeah, it feels like, can they unlock their weapons? Like that was the thing last year with Desmond Ridder and even with Heineke taking over for a little bit. And I love a good Heine story, by the way.
He'll be playing today, I bet.
I love a good Heine story, but in general, they got Kyle Pitts, who just hasn't performed to the level, whether that's saying it's the scheme, whether it's saying his actual ability. I think Kyle Pitts is a stud.
Yeah.
But that hasn't come together. They hope to unlock him. Drake London, their first-round pick from a few years ago, talented player, trying to get him the ball more. So you're looking at it and going, well, damn, this team can be pretty good. And by the way, they got Tyler Algier, their backup running back now behind Bijan. They got some pieces that are excited. And you know what? I want to see a little big Penix energy today. I do. I want to see him in action because I thought he was great at Washington. And for the Ravens, I think, honestly, it's a good test for both teams. And for the Ravens defense that gets out there and a quarterback that can kind of sling it, granted it's a rookie, hey, I think it's a good opportunity. Zach, got any other thoughts with those Atlanta Falcons?
I am so ready for Kyle Pitts to hurt me again in fantasy. I just know I'm going to draft him so high again, and I'm just completely prepared for the third straight year to just have my expectations shattered. But this is going to be a fun team. Like you guys said, they just have a lot of fun players. Drake London, get Darnell Mooney now, Kyle Pitts. The offense has so much potential with the weapons they have. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is kind of a quarterback where his specialty has always been he's not going to do too much. He's not going to go out there and win you a game with his legs. He's not going to go create plays. He's going to get the ball to the playmakers. And I think that's the perfect situation for him right now in an offense where Bijan Robinson, you get him. He's just a weapon. He's a Swiss Army knife. You can put him in the slot. You can get him behind the line, put him out in route screens. You can get creative with him. Then obviously Tyler Algier is more of the power back. But with all the weapons they have around, and then a quarterback now that can finally just get the weapons, the ball, this Falcons team can make some noise, especially in a very weak NFC South.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for me, it's just the veteran presence, right? I mean, the Falcons just haven't had that, especially at the most important position on the team, which is the quarterback. So, look, Kirk Cousins obviously has had issues when the lights are the brightest, especially in prime time and in the playoffs. But I think, it can't be understated that the guy does know how to win. And I'm just kind of pumped to see what that looks like this season.
If every playoff and Super Bowl was played at 1 p.m., Kirk Cousins would have at least 4 rings.
Correct.
It's fact. It's just I've never seen it's wild when you look at the stats. It's like him at 1 o'clock versus him at prime time.
Yeah. By the way, when I say the lights shine the brightest, I mean the literal lights shine.
Yeah, the brightest. Literally.
They get bright. And you know what, guys? Side note, I couldn't find my phone for the longest time. It's right there. And how do I know? Kelly's giving me a call real quickly. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'll call her back. I'm like, I couldn't find the phone. Oh, yes. And I'll tell you what, maybe it's just the Saturday morning, getting through this situation, trying to get through
Thank God we did this.
Yeah. It's beautiful. We love it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have another time. We'll have a coffee sponsor. I saw Joe. If Red Bull wants to give us a call.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'll tell you what, when Sundays roll around, we got Deep Eddie crushes.
Yes. And I'm gonna have to talk to them about do they have a like a Bloody Mary set up too?
Oh, you know
Like
what?
they do with the
We might
crushes?
be able to make a few concoctions. That's
like,
what
that would be a great football morning bev.
a Bloody Mary and some Iron Rooster breakfast.
Yes. And Rise Up Coffee. Not a sponsor yet, but if you're listening.
That's all I'm actually drinking right now.
Oh, there you have it.
There it is.
I'm rising up now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And for people in Baltimore, this is it's an exciting day, not for the sense that you're going, well, it's playoff time, but if you are a sports fan in Baltimore, you got a game at 12, you got another game at 7. It should be a lot of fun. Definitely chaotic. Definitely going to be a chaotic scene down here in Baltimore, but that is okay.
Yeah, Marcus, it's just a plant back there. It's just a little house plant. No big deal.
Yeah, the AC unit is above it, so it's just like moving the plant.
Is it just me, or is it extra loud today, the AC?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't either.
Hey,
But like I can hear it.
Is it raining outside soon? Or is it
No.
raining outside still? I was driving through and it was just monsooning down. And you know what? We're going to have some other features here as we go. And this is not one of the features, but it's a guy that could be featured out in the boots on the ground here. It's our man, Rocco DeSangro is actually. Oh, there he is.
Thanks for joining, Rocco.
Boots on the ground in.
Glad you showed up.
Not in Baltimore.
Well, thanks for showing up. I texted Rip twice about a time to get on and just didn't answer it. So
Yeah, he couldn't find his phone for the longest time.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't scare me that I couldn't find it until my mom called me and it was right in front of me.
What's up, boys?
Good morning, Rocco. Happy Saturday. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm in a bit of a sketchy Airbnb up here in upstate New York. So kind of feared for our lives yesterday. Put some chairs in front of the doors. So if I were to give you a tour, you'd see that. But I'm doing pretty good otherwise. Yeah, it's great. Good, great, grand.
That's a lot to dissect there.
Yeah.
But we are glad you joined us, and we know you can run along with your day. Essentially, though, I think what we want to do, this is our little test run here at the Ryan Ripken Show. And I think you or Zach might be having a little boots on the ground action during the season. Does that sound like we can pull that off?
Sounds like we can. Looking forward to it. I think it's a great part of a pregame show is the boots on the ground, like in with the fans, immersing yourself with Ravens flock or whoever else, opposing fans as well, and just getting in there, seeing the action and getting their thoughts because that's what really matters.
Will you be wearing physical boots?
Will I? Dude, we should get those like big red boots.
Yes.
You remember them?
Massive boots. Yes.
That would be hilarious.
They were like they were a big fad like back I feel like less than a year ago. I think Lamar got them there.
It was like this time last year.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, we absolutely need to get those boots and call our segment boots on the ground with that.
A lot of OnlyFans chicks.
Yeah.
God, all right, Brad. Don't loop me in with that.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Rock.
I already got Eddie on Twitter trying to loop me in with that and whatnot, and it's just like I have to, no, absolutely not.
I mean, there's a reason why I brought it up.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, you know what? We were doing so well there. We really were.
And then Rocco showed up.
But hey, the boots on the ground, that's now for everyone here listening. That is one other feature we are looking to have here when we go full throttle for the actual regular season in the NFL. Rocco, maybe Zach down there, the tandem, a little boots on the ground, giving you guys updates from around the stadium there at M&T Bank. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to try to get a little bit of testing, trial, and error, but we wanted – since he has that reporting background, we thought Rocco would be the guy to talk about it. Hey, Rock, since you're here for a minute, anything that interests you in this Ravens-Falcons game? We know that a lot of key guys probably aren't going to play, but on either side, anything that's catching your eye?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing some of the young guys play on both sides, just establishing themselves because preseason game 2 is when you're going to see a lot of guys continue to break out. Like that first kind of game I look at it as a test run. All right. You're going through training camp. You're going through the ebbs and flows and whatnot. And you're trying to establish yourself in that first game. So a lot of guys are just trying to get their feet wet. But now it's like, okay, this is the real deal. It's only one more game until the real thing begins. So that's what you're looking at. And guys need to make their mark. And you're going to see a lot of Ravens players and Falcons players try to do that right now.
Yeah. And I mentioned it earlier, Rock. Even though it's a preseason game, it matters to a lot of players. And also for a team and for coaches, they're trying to see, are guys making certain connections? Can guys be able to handle certain assignments? And for certain players, they're fighting for their jobs.
Yep. So
that is the reality of it. But it's fun that it's going to be a fun day in Baltimore. Again, we've alluded and described that it's going to be an absolute zoo from, I guess some people are going to tailgate this game from, let's just say it's 11 to 10 p.m. when the Orioles finish up tonight. It's going to be a wild one. Yeah, Rock, that's all. You're doing great. I'd rather you make sure you're in a safe spot.
Hold on. I do want to show you this. So it's in my Airbnb when I was sleeping last night.
Oh,
this is what was staring at me in the face.
What?
Okay.
What the fuck?
That's staring at me in the face. Terrified going to bed. And this is also in the corner. So
is that Medusa?
What?
Is that Medusa?
I have no clue.
Medusa?
I'm like, all I know is it's upstate New York.
Okay.
Airbnb is terrifying. Let me see if I can find if no one's in here.
Like this where,
dude? I swear to God,
where in upstate New York you
are? I don't want to like throw this Airbnb under the bus, but
yeah,
slept with the chair up against the door. There's like
oh my God. Like what prompted you to do that? Like what did something happen outside?
Dude, there's the house across the street looks abandoned and like it's been occupied before, but this is like some like
Rocco, you are in a horror film.
Oh yeah.
Happening right now, and I already am. I'm watching the opening scene. You're in a great mood. It's exciting, and then you kind of look around. You don't know what you heard, but you look around, and then you go about your day. In the middle of the night, something happens. Oh, I'm gonna make sure the door is double locked. Then you're walking around the place, and those statues have eyes.
Oh, Brett. I woke up at 4 in the morning and I had to pee and I was like, I am not leaving this bedroom alone by myself. I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I'm not going to pee myself. Hopefully not. Thank God I didn't, but here we are. We're good.
Oh, there you go. So right, it's a Shiva in the corner.
Is it?
I had no idea. So, but apparently it's
the fact that these things are in the bedroom are just like kind of like it's just like terrifying me a little bit. No disrespect to any of the statues or
that scary looking thing is scary.
Things on the wall. But I'm just like,
it's just a feeling that you have. My mom outside her house has this little statue that apparently is supposed to bring safety and good protection to the house. And I think that thing might get up in the middle of the night and be right over top of me and try to kill me. And it has the right intentions, right? But that thing, and it's seen better days. We don't even know how long it's been there. It might have been there for the last 300 years. We don't know. Maybe 1,000. So, Rock, it's okay. We just want you to get out of there alive. Okay.
Well, if I don't show up to work on Monday or, the rest of the week, just call the authorities, please.
You know what? Maybe we do need a haunted Airbnb. Oh, that could be a new segment. Rocco goes into every haunted Airbnb.
Live streams.
I'll do it. I will do it. One night I had to sleep. I had to sleep in at least each Airbnb one night. Spend the night by myself. I think that would generate some views, some clicks.
If we did like away games for like baseball, like we want to do, or even football, like we could do that. Just rent out Airbnbs to just be like a little side content, what have you.
Brad, what's the hotel? Remember that Mookie Betts talked about it? Was in where the hell was it? Was it the one? Is it the one in San Diego or is it the one it's the haunted MLB hotel. You guys know what I'm talking about, please. But it's like Mookie told the story about it, how he was terrified to sleep there. So all the guys got an Airbnb because they were like, nope, we're not staying at this hotel. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Let me.
You know what? This when you get back, we need documentation of everything that happened for you in this case.
Yep.
I'm telling you, in some players, there's certain things you can sense it, right? You can just sense there's something. Whatever your beliefs are, I believe that there are just some things you can't explain.
Yeah.
And I think we're sensing that in upstate New York right now.
Terrified. I'm terrified, dude.
Yep. Well, hey, why don't we? Rock, you'll be back for Monday?
I'm not sure because I have something in the works, as you know, on Monday. So Monday might be crazy. Thursday might also be crazy, but I'm going to definitely try to hop on the stream depending on what time.
Just told us if you don't show up to work this week to call the authorities, and now you're telling us that you aren't coming to work.
Hey, keeping everyone on their toes. Everyone says, I already look like a ghost.
I'm calling the authorities. So
Yeah.
congrats.
Is what it is. So.
Going to jail.
Yep. You're going to prison.
All right, Rock. Well, hey, you enjoy your Saturday. We got a lot planned. Hey, our Deep Eddy vodka, we got it up there.
Yeah.
It will look even nicer when we got the bar set up in about a week or two.
Listen, I can't wait for the idea that we have with the crushes and what Rocco's going to do.
Okay. Don't you tease it. Don't do it yet.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I just can't wait for it. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. All right, the ghost of Rocco. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Get the fuck out of here. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
goodness gracious. Well, hey, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We cover a lot of baseball, obviously, for the Orioles, and we'll talk a lot of Major League Baseball, but our roots started with football. That's when we initially started last year in September.
Yeah.
So as we move forward, the Ryan Ripken Show, we are going to have Mondays and Thursdays regularly scheduled shows. And then every Sunday, we are having a pregame show for 2 hours. Consider this the test run because we don't have everything set up, but we wanted to see how it would look with everything going on. And yeah, Brooks, the couch is gone. Yeah. The couch that you sat on yourself is now gone. But we got some things that are going in there. Maybe a nice little pool table.
Listen, I'm sad about the couch. It's been here for 4 years.
Yeah.
And just had to retire it. But it's going on to live somewhere else. So the original owner, CJ, came in and picked it back up, and it's still around, just not in here.
Yep.
But I am a little sad about it.
You know what?
There's so much room for activity.
The space that it freed up in here,
insane.
It's wild. The echo, maybe that's what's messing with me today, because there's a lot more echo in here. Because the audio has been messing with me today.
Yeah, but you know what? That's okay. It's a part of it. But we're in the renovation stage because, like we said, for Ravens home games specifically, we're going to have certain contests, even for the road games. Hell, we have certain things we are putting together in this studio that we think that all of you guys are going to enjoy, and it's going to be for the experience. We're working on some giveaways. We got some great sponsors that are going to help in that process here. Laura, we're not getting a fish tank at this point in time, but if we need to save Rip Fin and Birch Fish, then we will take them. If you're holding your breath for Kevin Ostreicher,
yes, you're gonna die.
This might be the end for you.
This is, expected. Do we think he shows up?
No
chance.
Nope. Maybe he'll pop up because he does talk about sometimes not saying he's a demon presence, but something. I think
he's one of those guys. If you say his name 3 times, I could see him just showing up. He's going to just he'll pop up and be super distraught. His hair will be everywhere. And he'll be like, I set an alarm. It didn't go off. And then he'll be good.
Can we as we're preparing for a lot of this stuff, when do you want to touch on what we actually have planned for football season? When's the big reveal for that stuff? Can we do it today or what?
I think we could probably do it today. I think we can
some of our concepts, our ideas.
Yeah, we can see some of our concepts and ideas. Do you want to start that now, or should we go around the league a little bit?
Let's go around the league a little bit. and then we'll kind of.
And as we circle back to talk more a little bit with the Ravens and even some season goals.
So just stick around is all I'm saying.
Let's do that. So, hey, while we do this and we get back into the Ravens and Falcons here in a little bit, why don't we take a ride in our Adams Jeep around the NFL here? Hey now. Oh, hands are up there.
That was a little bit more of a milk in the cow
Yeah.
situation, but hey, whatever.
That was a Kevin Ostreicher milk the cow, and you like to see. You
Rest
hate
in
to
peace,
see.
Kevin. He might be dead.
Well, he's Dracula, so
Yeah.
that's fine. I can't get on people. I'm a vampire as well. But our friends at Adams Jeep in Aberdeen, OG sponsor for us. Beautiful sign behind Zach.
Boom.
If you go up to Adams Jeep in Aberdeen and you purchase a used vehicle up there and you say Rocco sucks or I love the Ryan Ripken show, both work, you get a gas card up to $1,000. So that's just the deal with them. And we have some things in the works for maybe some tailgating ideas in the future with Adams Jeep. You guys stay tuned for that. So let's talk a little bit around the league of some storylines. We mentioned earlier because Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, and Kirk Cousins had the connection down in Washington, now with the Commanders. But guys, a storyline down there, if we're going around, is that the Commanders are in a little bit of a different light. They got a new ownership, new head coach this year, new quarterback, new franchise quarterback. And I think if there's any storyline for today, for them, Commanders and Dolphins are facing off. Let's just be honest. The Dolphins, we already know what to expect. They got Tua, they got Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert, A-Chain. That's all set. But for the Commanders, it's kind of going to be the evolution of Jaden Daniels. And honestly, I'll tell you what, guys, watching him in his preseason debut, a lot of what they might be working on is what Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens started off with.
Not a fan.
You're not a fan of Jaden Daniels?
No, just not a fan of this whole situation in Washington. I just think, look, Dan Quinn, obviously well-known coach. He's been around for a minute, but just look at what he did with the Cowboys as a defensive coordinator, and you can there's no evolution of that defense last year, and I almost kind of wonder if he didn't take this head coaching job, if he wouldn't have gotten fired, or he would have at least been on the hot seat. Just the way that he went about as a defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, I just can't be that excited. There's so many other head coaching candidates that I thought would have been a better fit in Washington than Dan Quinn. But hey, look, maybe I'll be proven wrong. And for Washington fans, I hope that I am.
Well, and he's got the thing with Dan, he's got a good leadership quality to him. The players love him. You know, he's got from what I know, I don't know Dan personally, but people really love his energy. Now, yeah, you got to go out there and you're going to have to perform. And unfortunately for Dan, after a really good run in Atlanta, it was soured by the 28-3 against the Patriots. Soured by how it ended then the years after, and then now
there's just no adjustments that get made. Like the in-game adjustments.
The Dallas situation, the defense was such a big part of their team last year, and then in the biggest game, the Packers throttled them. Shout out Jordan.
Well, it wasn't
Love
even
the
just
Packers.
that. Remember the Bills game? The Bills game, they had it in the bag in Buffalo, and then
they didn't have to. No, the Bills just throttled them too. It was they couldn't stop the run. They could pass rush with everything, but they couldn't make the adjustment against the run.
Yep.
And that was the biggest part for them. So that'll be interesting to watch. But we all know this. How the quarterback play for the Commanders is the biggest storyline. They got some weapons, Zach. They got Scary Terry. They got Dotson. They just signed Austin Eckler. They got Brian Robinson, where many men wish death upon him. But if anyone that didn't get that, Brian Robinson got shot before the season last year, or it was 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, and then ended up playing. Yeah. And now he's turned into a really, really solid player. And that's another weapon for them. And Cliff Kingsbury is going to be running that offense. So I think there's a lot of things that I want to see kind of evolve there. And I think that's just the biggest storyline in this game.
Yeah. And I think another thing is Jahan Dotson is supposedly on the hot seat for the roster spot. They have not been happy with him last year. They were not happy with how he performed in the first preseason game. I guess they aren't happy with how he's performed in practices. And Dan Quinn kind of made some not so subtle hints that Dotson is potentially even fighting for a roster spot at this point. They have some more depth as we talked about. The wide receiver room for them is pretty deep because they have Scary Terry. They have Luke McCaffrey, Diami Brown, Jamison Crowder. So they have some
weapons.
Yeah, they just signed Martavis Bryant.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, which every time, I mean, he gets signed all the time, and then I forget that he's in the league, and
Me
then like
too.
then he gets cut, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
He's a Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he's just going.
But his was a different circumstance because unlike Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he just was the journeyman, Martavis Bryant had his own issues.
Well, yeah. I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, as far as like,
but teams
of teams he's been on.
Well, teams give him chances because they go, man. I saw a highlight the other day with him with Pittsburgh, caught a pretty simple route, and then housed it down the sideline. Cut up field. It was like an 80-yard touchdown. The dude's talented, but where is he at now in his career? A little bit older. But to your point, there's some shakeup with the Commanders. And also, I want to see Terry McLaurin do well. I love that dude. I think he is such a good ambassador just for that organization. Would have loved him in Baltimore, but I would love to see him have a good season there down in Washington. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go to a game, guys, that has implications or at least interest for Baltimore Ravens fans. Okay. Bills Steelers are facing off. And let's start with the first thing with Pittsburgh. It's one of the rare teams in the recent years that they have a threat to win the division, and they've done very well against the AFC North. And people can say, well, the Ravens were hurt or the Ravens rested players, which there's accuracies there. However, Pittsburgh has still beaten Baltimore. That's just the fact of it. Pittsburgh has done very well against the Browns and the Bengals, but they're one of the few teams that feel like they could compete to go to the playoffs, but can't contend for a Super Bowl. And why is that, guys? Why is that, Brad? Who said that, Zach?
Quarterback.
The quarterback position.
Yeah.
It's rare that a team could still be as competitive as they are and still have questions at the quarterback position.
I think that just as a testament, a lot of Steelers fans give Mike Tomlin a lot of grief. And look, rightfully so. There's been some decisions that are certainly questionable in the playoffs in particular, but the guy knows how to win no matter who's on the field. And so that's always the scary part about the Steelers. It's like it doesn't matter who's under center, what's going on defense, what kind of injuries they're facing. Somehow, some way, Mike Tomlin's going to win a ball game. And so as long as he's head coach, if I'm a Steelers fan and as a Ravens fan, I have all the confidence in the world in that guy because he's just a winner. Knows how to make it happen.
And they won despite the situations. I'm trying to go through all the quarterbacks they've had over the last few years. Obviously, Kenny Pickett. Obviously, Mitch Trubisky.
Mason Rudolph.
Still there, right?
Yep. Who was I'm blanking on the quarterback. Devin Hodges.
Yes,
Duck
Hodges. Yes, Duck. I was just thinking, I was like, why was one of them Duck?
Well, so the fact that they have all these names of Duck Hodges, electric name, by the way.
Yes.
I'm about that. But you're seeing that's who they've been working with, the quarterbacks. And this is the crazy thing last year. Go ahead.
You know what though too? The running back situation hasn't exactly been there either. Really I mean, there has been some.
Well, I'd say running game has been inconsistent.
That's fair
because Najee had a great rookie year, and it helped that Big Ben was there, and he'd go Captain Dump Off with understanding, but also quarterbacks, hey, get it out of my hands, get it to a guy that can make plays. Steelers run blocking's been terrible. But
which
also,
is uncharacteristic of their DNA, to be honest with you.
And that's a big reason why they hired Arthur Smith,
yeah,
who, if you guys remembered, he was the offensive coordinator for the Titans, then became the head coach of the Falcons, which they drafted Bijan Robinson and said, hey, we love Bijan. We're going to spend a high pick on him to have him split carries for the entire season. And Arthur Smith lost his job because of the quarterback play. But let's go back to this situation. They have better options this year. And you can say how you feel about Russell Wilson.
I was going to say maybe they do.
Maybe, but I think it's an upgrade over Kenny Pickett.
Well, definitely an upgrade over Kenny Pickett,
Yes.
who's what 0 for 6 in his. I mean, obviously preseason, but so far, the biggest thing for Kenny Pickett, couldn't throw the ball beyond 10 yards. He's yet to complete a completion over 10 yards in his
that's insane.
Eagles career. He's 0 for 6.
That's my point, though. Like that stat right there, and the fact that the Steelers still had a winning record last year is just unbelievable. Probably the worst offense that we've seen.
Oh yeah,
in our life, and they came out with a winning record. That comes down to coaching, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and that is a big component of it. But also, I think you got to have guys that can be comfortable with it. So let's look at the two quarterbacks here, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Two contrasting parts to their career, okay? Because Justin Fields, you went into a Chicago Bears team that was terrible, that did not have a set plan at the moment. A lot of offensive coordinator changes. Now, Justin Fields is a little bit slower with his release. That's one thing. He is a dynamic runner. When he can get in the open field and take off, he can make deep throws, but it's sometimes, again, the adjustments, the quickness of his reads, and then having the accuracies, right? Now, Russell Wilson, on the other hand, played himself in the preseason to be the starter in Seattle. And then they went on the run, Great defense. And then the defense, of the Legion of Boom, that ends. And Russell Wilson has a really solid campaign with Seattle over and over. Then he says, you know what? I want to go somewhere else. Then you go to Denver. And Denver, that situation, the Hackett-Wilson
mess
was brutal. And then Sean Payton doesn't really want him. It's that whole fiasco. But his numbers last year, 3,000 passing yards, 26 passing touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions. QBR was 21st in the NFL, but he wasn't terrible by any means.
No, and I think he actually is the starter this year.
And I think that right now that's how it looks. But then if we go to Justin Fields, he's a young guy. And keep in mind, Russell Wilson's under a 1-year deal, if I'm not mistaken, veteran. He's getting paid a lot of money.
He's basically...
Well, both are because of Justin Fields' contract situation. Yeah. That's right.
Well, and Russell Wilson's contract situation. He's still got, 45 million from the Broncos this year?
Yeah, but the Broncos are paying all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I would venture to say not a whole lot of pressure for Russell Wilson. He's getting paid a shit ton of money, whether he does well or not. So it's almost kind of like he's probably playing pretty loose this year if they just kind of let him do his thing.
Dude, if I knew I could sit on a bag and I can go out there and be like, hey, I'm playing with house money right now, and I'm in an organization that wants me to be there, and I could pick where I wanted to be, hell yeah, man. I mean, there's nothing to lose for Russell Wilson.
Right.
Now, for Justin Fields, he has everything to gain because he's trying to show teams, especially Pittsburgh, and I still love, shout out the Bears, that they had other deals in place, better deals in place, but Justin didn't want to go there, and they did right by him of saying, hey, you want to go to Pittsburgh? We'll send you to Pittsburgh. But Fields last year, only 2,500 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Granted, he was hurt, only played in 13 games. Now, rushing-wise, he ran for 657 yards, but now it goes into this Arthur Smith offense. They got Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris in the backfield. Arthur likes to use running backs. You got Pat Freiermuth, which I think he's a good tight end.
He has the potential to be an elite tight end.
But they don't throw the ball as much to their tight ends. Maybe that changes.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing is, who's throwing the ball to George Pickens? Can you get the ball to George Pickens?
I think it's Russell Wilson's throwing the ball to George Pickens. And if George Pickens, I don't know, lowers the, what do you want to call it, drama in his situation?
No drama.
That's not going to happen.
No drama.
That ain't happening. George Pickens knows one thing. It's George Pickens likes when George Pickens gets the ball and when George Pickens doesn't get the ball.
Look, that's just being a wide receiver.
Oh yeah, but when George Pickens, he's very vocal and will make it very, very apparent on the sideline when he is not happy about not getting the ball.
So how about this then? Tied back with the Ravens. Which quarterback do you think gives the Steelers a better chance to win the AFC North?
That's Russell Wilson. I don't think it's a question.
Zach.
I think I'm going to go Justin Fields solely off of potential, because I just think even if Russell Wilson does, like this is 36
Okay, well, let me ask you
year old
this.
Russell Wilson.
Who's got more pressure? Who's got more pressure this season out of those two?
Definitely Fields. So that's why I think he has to step up. I think Russell Wilson's 36 years old. He's kind of like, I just don't know if the juice is there anymore. We've seen him keep on taking steps back, it feels like, over the past 2-3 years. And I don't know if it's, something. I think Justin Fields is playing for his life, and he needs that opportunity to go out there. And this is solely off of, I just don't know, even if Russell Wilson puts together a half decent season, if this team can win the division. But I think if Justin Fields is their quarterback, as a Ravens fan, I hope they start Russell Wilson. And I think that's what they end up doing. But Justin Fields has way more. He just changes that offense in such a dynamic way. It opens up Najee Harris. Jaylen Warren can get more touches. Cordero Patterson, obviously, as that gadget player. And it opens up, they have to bring guys in the box. George Pickens gets more one-on-one matchups. Calvin Austin is a very dynamic player that they have kind of everywhere on the field. It just feels like, plus I love Darnell Washington, the backup tight end out of Georgia.
Beast.
Just a massive human being. They have all the weapons, and I think if you have Fields, it just makes it more dynamic and can get the most out of it.
Wasn't it kind of funny for a while that Steeler fans were getting on about, oh, Lamar Jackson can't throw, that style of play isn't exciting, blah, blah, blah. And now the Steelers might be having a quarterback that Justin Fields is not Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying any of that, but a style that Justin Fields can take off and make a play with his legs the way that Lamar Jackson can in some cases. Just saying, it's fascinating. And we bring this up, and look, just a bit outside, we appreciate you as always, but hey, there's only so much we can talk about with what's going on with the Ravens. We talked about, hey, well, Lamar Jackson's the MVP of the league. We know he's playing. He's not playing today. No. I want him bubble wrapped. I want Kyle Hamilton bubble wrapped. I don't want any of those guys playing, especially on a day like today where it's rainy and nasty. But it gives context because these are storylines that are going to impact the Ravens moving forward. Now, to finish that with the Steelers, the team they're playing, Buffalo, they got questions of their own. They shipped off Stephon Diggs. Shout out Maryland product, by the way.
Who's already causing problems, by the way.
Well, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. That's cameras going there. Stroud's not worked with him enough. I know Brad, you always are stirring shit. I know you. But the Bills, what's that offense going to look like? However, they ship off Diggs. Keon Coleman's in.
Just the most electric human being of all time.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman's had some great sound bites so far. Signing a contract was very that was must watch TV for signing a contract, and that has nothing to do with actually the contract. But for the Bills, Ken Dorsey got fired last year, their offensive coordinator. Joe Brady inserted. And
do you think that was warranted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because they were dysfunctional.
They were really bad. They went through that streak where that offense couldn't do anything.
Nothing. They were one-dimensional. They couldn't run the football unless Josh Allen was hurdling guys or barreling through. And then they said, hey, we got to get James Cook involved, who they spent a second-round pick on. And then James Cook's numbers went way up. Diggs's production went down. You could say that's from the scheme. You can say that's how they defended him. But the reality is, who's going to take over for the Bills to be that kind of go-to guy? Is it going to be Shakir, who's more of a slot receiver? Does Coleman step up? Or do they continue with that run-first kind of mentality and let Josh Allen be Josh Allen? Josh Allen in that offense apparently is going to play a quarter and a half today, allegedly. So between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson situation and with the Bills, I'm curious. That's a game I'm really excited with. Moving on, a couple other ones that I think. The Lions and Chiefs, we already know these teams. We already know. I love the Lions offense. I think Chiefs and Mahomes were fine.
They're playing the whole first half.
Hey,
that's crazy.
Andy Reid is a big believer. My guys need to get some reps. And you know what? Can't fault the guy. They're pretty damn good. They've won the last 2 Super Bowls. So whatever Andy Reid's thinking, I can trust it. It's a risk.
It's a huge risk.
It's a risk.
look at what just like with, especially maybe it's because we just have PTSD with all the Ravens that have been injured in the preseason. But man, all you need is Travis Kelce to turn the wrong way in a preseason game, and then it's going to look a lot different this season for the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's a risk in today's day and age, but it's definitely something that
it used to just be the norm.
It's a value though, and I think that's the thing for a Chiefs offense that's why everyone thought the Chiefs were going to win last year, is because their offense wasn't performing at the level, but people did underestimate that Patrick Mahomes is still very good. Andy Reid is that duo best in football.
Yo, I can't wait to have Sean Merriman on here to talk about how the Chargers are going to be contenders in that division. It's going to be a fun division to watch. I know the AFC North is still the best division in football, but the West looks like it could be shaping up to be pretty competitive. And I think the Chiefs are going to be a little bit more challenged, let's just say, than they have in the past.
I saw Chargers fans tweeting out fire Greg Roman after the first preseason game, and I was like, "Oh, you guys have no clue."
Well, right now too for the Chargers, Justin Herbert's trying to deal with the plantar fasciitis. So
I feel
or plantar fascia.
I think it's fasciitis.
Unique New York, but what's happening? That's a new storyline that'll be fun to watch. But in general, Chiefs, I got all the faith in the world that they're going to have an offense that's going to be way better than it was last year.
Oh, for sure. But like my thing is that these other AFC West teams have gotten better too. Oh, I think that there's going to be more competitive play within the division.
I sure hope so, because it hasn't been the greatest so far. But the Raiders, they're buying into Antonio Pierce. The Broncos. Yep, and then the Chargers. But so I guess that's my point. The Broncos, you might have a rookie quarterback starting, and then the Chargers, I believe in Jim Harbaugh 1,000%. It's just where's that going to be? That's where it is. It's just the Chiefs, to me, they got another pathway to be the AFC West champs yet again.
For sure.
Quick note with the Bengals, Jamar Chase still is not playing. I'm not worried about the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection. That's fine. Curious how T. Higgins plays on a contract year. There's no news to really report with that.
It's just whether or not Joe Burrow can stay healthy.
If Joe Burrow stays healthy, they're going to be competitive. That's just the reality. You can hate it or love it.
I do want to say though, with their offense, I'm interested to see what happens with Mike Gesicki and Zach Moss. I also, Chase Brown was my draft crush last year.
Yeah, still is.
Yeah, so that was heartbreaking when the Bengals. I called my friend who's a Bengals fan when that happened, and I was like, just take care of him. Just take care of him. Also, Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton is looking like a dog right now. That actually really scares me, because he's always been a guy at Alabama that was super talented, but it was like there was more off the field issues that were the worry. And in practice and in the first preseason game, that man was making catches that make me feel like even if T. Higgins leaves, it's not going to get better.
Well, it goes back to them for their quarterback play. Even though Jake Browning showed that they can be a solid team, but Joe Burrow
isn't Jake injured? Didn't he have like a rib issue or something?
Yeah, but I was trying to say that the Bengals surprisingly still were competitive without Joe.
Oh yeah, but just because Jake could potentially start somewhere.
He could. He's proven that he could. Last year was a great audition for him, but Joe Burrow, if he plays, the Bengals are going to be in the hunt for it. Unlike the AFC West, we know what we're getting the AFC North right now.
Well,
Bengals,
unless
Browns,
the Bengals are playing Lamar Jackson.
Well, if Lamar plays against the Bengals, I like the chances for Baltimore. I think that the stats will back that up as well. Cleveland is a tough team. Their season hangs on Deshaun Watson. And then obviously Pittsburgh quarterback situation. Last thing, guys, then we'll get back to some fun things on the fantasy and over and under side. I wanted to touch on the other team in the AFC that I'm just excited about. Not that I'm rooting for the Ravens all the way, but I'm just excited. Is the Texans, a team that was supposed to be the second worst or worst team last year. I'm a huge CJ Stroud fan. I love what he's doing. I love his leadership. And Brad, we were there game one against the Ravens.
Yeah.
and he got smacked around early. But I'll tell you what, he
You and I-
hung in
yeah.
there late.
You and I both said during that game, even though it was his first NFL game, and,
Yeah.
it was rough. You and I both talked about how he was going to be special, and sure enough, man, he just ripped up the NFL last year.
I just remember he got pummeled early, and you're like, damn, it's going to just be a rough year for CJ. Just that offensive line. Is he going to be protected? Is he going to get rattled? And then I remember he got smacked and he threw a dime. I'm like, damn. Then he threw another one. And you go, this guy has it. And actually for me, Brad, and it's still the NFL till you really know, but that game he had against Georgia in the national semifinal, where Georgia's defense, stout, hard to score on him, and he lit them up. And I went, dude, to me, he was the best quarterback in the draft. Feel bad for Bryce Young, Carolina's woof.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what that offense can be, because that to me is the one place. They got Joe Mixon. They have a better offensive line. Bobby Slowick, another year in the system for them. Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell.
That's where I was going.
Tank Dell, dog.
Who becomes wide receiver 1 in that squad?
It better be Nico Collins. I know I've been on record saying this. I don't think Stephon Diggs has a good year.
I agree, but what does that do to the locker room, right? Obviously, Stephon Diggs is very vocal last year when he wasn't getting thrown the ball as much as he wanted to. Does that carry over into Houston, or is that culture going to, cause him to change some things about himself as far as development?
I think he wants to win. I think he's in a spot to win. So I think it's going to be his stats. And when I say I don't think Diggs is going to have a good year, I don't think he's going to have a Diggs type year because of how much other talent is around him,
right?
Specifically. And guys like Nico Collins really emerged last year as a top wide receiver in the league. Then you have Tank Dell, who unfortunately got hurt at the end of last year. He's coming back. He looked incredible in his rookie year. And you got those two guys already sitting there, and then you add Diggs into it. There's one, I hate it for fantasy because I love Nico Collins, but there is so many so many options now, and they get Joe Mixon. They've built such a great core around CJ Stroud. They're doing exactly what you need to do with a rookie quarterback on a contract. And that team is going to be very good, and that offense is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, people can hate on Joe Mixon, but he's a constant. For fantasy football, he's definitely consistent. Yeah. But that gives stability that was one thing with them. They couldn't run the football very well last year. They had some games where Devin Singletary, he helped my squad to the to my home league championship. We'll talk fantasy. I saw there's a question here about that, and that's where we're going to next. But I'm excited. And Tank Dell is just a certified dog where he just has a big play after big play after big play. And I'm just really excited for the Texans offense. I really am. That should be a lot of fun. That kind of covers these storylines. That just piqued my eye, guys. Mm-hmm. Why don't we then, or do you want to tease some of our ideas, Brad?
We can wait. We can wait. Give that till the end.
Okay.
I just wanted to shout out. There's 61 people in here.
61 in our test run.
Yeah, in YouTube. For those of you watching on Twitter/X, appreciate you as well. I just was pleasantly surprised. I'm happy about this. Maybe we'll start to work our way into the hundreds and during the season. I'm super pumped. I'm just excited that people are here this morning.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you guys waking up with us on this. I would like to say it's a beautiful Saturday morning, but it's not. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We cover a lot of baseball during baseball season, but stop traffic. We wanted to remind people we cover a lot of football. We're going to have a lot of things around the Ravens. We are Baltimore based, but we will go around the NFL, and we will talk about fantasy football. We will have guests in studio to talk a little bit of football down the stretch, but we're going to have a pregame show every Sunday or when the Ravens are playing, 2-hour show for you guys here. And we're going to have a lot of giveaways. We'll talk about what we have planned for our fall later on in this show. But fellas, I saw some people ask about fantasy. Saw that already. We are working on it. I fantasy pool or a fantasy league. I think I saw Andy say that. I don't know the difference on or the fantasy pool. I'll have to get.
Yeah, I don't either. No.
But we are working on a fantasy football league for the Ryan Ripken Show. Our Holy Shirts and Pants members, if you're a member, I put out a question. If you want to be in, make sure you comment on that. We have a special league for the Holy Shirts and Pants, but we will open a league up to the Ryan Ripken Show as a whole.
How can they get to the Holy Shirts and Pants Club, Ryan?
That's a great question. I believe right on YouTube, there's a join button
on your
right
computer.
there on the computer.
And your phone if you have an Android.
Okay. If you have an Android, you can join it there. But if you don't, go to your computer.
Here, I'll share the link in the chat as well.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. And that is something, if you guys join, as we are making renovations here, your donation or membership helps us continue to bring you content and to continue to grow our product. We're just getting started. This is going to be officially our first full year come September of covering, and this will be first full year of covering both baseball and football. Yeah. So we can't wait. Have so much in store, but join the Holy Shirts and Pants. You get access to exclusive interviews before we put them out. So we just had Jonathan Papelbon, Red Sox former closer, Phillies World Series champion, 6-time All-Star, had him on to talk about some Craig Kimbrell conversations, but a lot of baseball conversations. We sat down with co-owner Mike Arrighetti a couple days ago as well. Same thing's going to apply for the football season when we have our guests on that we have hopefully in store for you. So, guys, I think it's a good time. We're getting into some fantasy conversations. And also, it's a good time to take a trip up to our good old friends, Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Can we try that one more time? That was solid.
No, that's good.
That was good. Okay.
He's just used to Rocco or Kevin messing it up. So he just automatically said, can we try that again? Without even understanding. We nailed it.
Right.
So, Charlestown Races, Hollywood Casino up there. They are proud sponsors of the Ryan Ripken Show. It's about an hour and 15 from Baltimore, hour from Owings Mills. When we went over there to the Ravens facility, went right from there up to Hollywood Casino. Beautiful drive, easy drive. We're going to be up there for a tailgate special in the fall. And if you guys like complimentary beverages, if you use your Penn Play card up at Hollywood Casino in West Virginia, you will have complimentary beverages, but you can only do that in West Virginia. It's not offered in Virginia or in Maryland. And the Penn Play app, if you download it, just downloading the app, you have a chance to win $2,000 in Penn Play cash. So go download the app there. And yes, a tailgate event for the Ryan Ripken Show. We will be up there again in the fall after baseball season ends so we can have our full attention on football. We will let you guys know on details for that moving forward. But fellas, since we were talking a little fantasy football, getting a little giddy, I think it's a good time. Let's start with this. Fantasy football-wise, Baltimore Ravens. Well, I think Lamar Jackson's an obvious one that people like. But is there a Raven that you have to have this year in fantasy football? Zach, would you like to start?
I'm going to go Rashad Bateman. I just feel like the upside's there.
For the price that it's going to be.
Yeah, like you're not going to have to spend a high draft pick at all on Rashad Bateman. Actually, I'll do a little research to see what his average draft position is right now, but he's not someone that you're going to need to spend, I would say, anywhere in the top few 5-6 rounds. He could probably get him in like the mid-tier rounds. And if Rashad Bateman's on the field, he's proven to be an effective presence with Lamar Jackson, especially if they get on the same page. Finally, this could be a massive breakout year for him. And every time they talk about Rashad Bateman and the offense specifically, they mention that they are relying on Rashad Bateman to take that next step. It's not we hope he can do this. They're like, no, we paid him. Remember, they just gave him that contract extension to be that number 2 behind Zay Flowers and really take that next step and hopefully creating a more pass heavy, I don't want to call it pass heavy, but more balanced offense across the wide receiver room. And then obviously with Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews.
And I think that's a good thing to point out. It's just the price of what it's going to be. And they didn't go out and get another big name wide receiver, right? It's going to be Rashad. It's going to be Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. But Brad, you got a guy that you're eyeing for this Ravens season?
Yeah, it is Mark Andrews for me. Top 2 tight ends in the league. It's always a really thin tight end group when it comes to drafting. And if Mark Andrews is there, even if it is a high draft pick, it's just worth taking. He's a touchdown machine. Lamar Jackson he's the most trusted target for Lamar Jackson. So it's got to be Mark Andrews for me.
Mark. Truly, when he's on the field, it's different. And that's the part where you're looking at it outside of Zay Flowers, who you're wondering who's gonna make that jump. Is Zay gonna take that year 2 jump that people hope, or is it gonna be pretty evenly distributed around the field? Second year of Todd Monken offense. All good questions, but Mark Andrews wasn't playing down the stretch, so we won't really know what that entails. But I'll go with this. It's the one that's how about the big acquisition of the offseason? How about King Henry? How about Derrick Henry? Yeah. Which, look, I'm excited. I am super excited to see what Derrick Henry can do with Lamar Jackson as his quarterback. I know that that's an obvious one, but I think that it's just worth talking about because Derrick Henry's he's now in his age 30 season. He's a guy that is built in a lab, though. I mean, the workouts we've talked about, his workouts. Unbelievable. You know what? We should get at one of his workouts and obviously not do the same weight and try to, emulate that here in the studio. I think that could be a very good exercise.
We could definitely do that. I want to see Kevin try to do it.
But I wanted to look at his over and under for rushing yards on the season here.
You know what we could do? We could have Nick Moore in here doing that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what he's going to say.
What?
He's going to say Derrick Henry's going to have 50 touchdowns and 2,000
Well, no.
yards.
I mean, just like the workouts.
Oh, the workouts. Oh, absolutely. Nick Moore's on that for sure. We need to have Nick Moore talk about that. Yeah, we'll stay away from all of that talk with fantasy and stuff for football. Don't want Nick to get in any trouble with that.
No.
I know. I said the workout. That's what I meant. The workouts is right in Nick's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Nick's a big dude too. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Nick's he's ready for football season. Shout out Nick Moore, by the way. Pro Bowl season starts now.
Yes.
You're going to see him out there, number 46. Give him some love out there. Yeah. I was trying to look at right now as far as rushing props. Most rushing yards for this season, Christian McCaffrey is the favorite. Mm-hmm. Then followed by Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Derrick Henry has plus 1,000 odds to be the rushing yards leader this year.
Wow. Damn.
Then Bijan Robinson also has the same odds. Then Saquon Barkley rounds out the top 6.
Let me ask you this. Are you, if you're a number 1 overall pick, are you still drafting Christian McCaffrey?
I have the number 1 overall pick. So, yes, maybe.
Is he on the cover of Madden this year?
Yeah. He is. Now I'm getting scared.
There's never been
a repeat.
Right.
I feel like it's got to be. I also can't trust Justin Jefferson because of the quarterback situation. So I would probably go Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra number 1?
Amon-Ra.
I'm a huge. Don't say that out loud. Wow. Don't say that.
I feel like that's the way.
Don't tell me. Well, no, because that's if any of my friends are actually listening to this in my big money league at home, I'm number 1, so it don't matter. But I don't want them thinking that the guy behind that McCaffrey could fall. I don't want him thinking that. I love Amon-Ra. You want to talk about consistency? That dude just shows up. Yeah. You hear his dad talk about with them working out his kids. Also electric.
Did you watch Wide Receiver on Netflix?
I have not yet. I'm going to.
Kind of like diminished my fandom of Amon-Ra a little bit.
A little bit? Well, then I won't watch it then.
Yeah. Don't meet your heroes.
He was a hero for me. Big reason why the Toe Jam Bandits won their 3rd championship in the league at home. We're
hell yeah.
Yeah. Big money league. Been running it since I can't even remember, but Amon-Ra is probably up there. Derrick Henry, I think there's no way if you're in a league in Baltimore that he falls out of the first round. Even without that, he definitely is going to be in it. Should be interesting to see. We're trying to look at some other over and unders for fun's sake. Let's just go around that for a second. So if we're saying Derrick Henry's at plus 1,000 odds, of those 6 running backs I mentioned, Any of those that you're taking?
I'm looking at it right now. I really like Saquon.
I'm worried about Saquon. No Jason Kelsey. What's that offensive line look like?
Yeah, but I mean, Saquon's been with a horrible offensive line in New York, and he was still making it work. And I think the threat of Jalen Hurts, I don't think they want to run Jalen Hurts as much. I think Saquon, unfortunately, his touchdowns are screwed because of the tush push. But
Yeah,
I think his rushing yards, he's going to have a really good rushing season. Jonathan Taylor bounce back. That could be the move.
I was
Taylor
thinking Nick Chubb bounce back as well.
But he's going to miss some time. I don't think he's
No, I
going to be
know,
ready to
but
start.
I mean,
bouncing back.
Yeah, he looked some of the footage I've seen of him right now as in rehab. He looks real good still.
He does. Oh my goodness. We're talking about with rushing. Now let's go to rushing touchdowns. Derrick Henry is the favorite to have the most regular season rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
At plus 700. McCaffrey's at plus 800.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is third. David Montgomery fourth at plus 1,300.
What? For the most rushing touchdowns?
Yep.
Yeah, that's all they did last year. And as someone who had Gibbs, it's the most annoying thing. Gibbs would get them literally 99
I forgot about that.
Literally 99 yards down the field, and they'd get caught at the one. And then, you just see David Montgomery just trotting in, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding?"
You know what I'm eyeing right now, though, guys. Now that I'm bringing up Derrick Henry, do you guys know what his over and under is for touchdowns for Baltimore? Rushing touchdowns.
Probably like 6.5.
That's super low. 6.5 rushing touchdowns for the season, Zach? In this economy, you think Derrick Henry's going to have over and under is going to be set at 6.5 when he's had how many rushing touchdowns over the year?
I just feel like they're going to take into account Lamar Jackson keeping the ball.
6.5?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
I think he gets 13.
Zach,
I'm
he
going
hasn't
13.
had less than 10 since 2018.
I thought you were making it seem like it was low.
You
were like, now that I'm looking.
Brad?
13.
10.5 is the number. And he has not had 10. He's only had 10 rushing touchdowns once since 2018. Every other year, 12, 16, 17, 13, and 12 again in 2023.
Yeah.
Guys, 10.5.
I'm taking the over on that.
If I'm, Well, Zach's taking.
I'm
interested. If it's 6.5, Zach will take it.
I'm not sure he's going to be like, I guess with the goal line, but even like short yardage situations have weirdly been not Derrick Henry's strong suit over the past few years. So that's where I feel like we could be like defenses are going to go all in on stopping Derrick Henry at the goal line. And it's just going to make Lamar Jackson's going to
last year they've done that against when he was in Nashville though too. I mean, like,
well, I'm just saying,
they can only
year,
put so many guys in the box, and look, they might try that in the beginning of the season. Well, opposing teams are going to try to stack that box as much as they can,
and that's why I think then Lamar's just got free reign. I think
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I think they're going to run the option on the goal line just the entire time.
That's my argument when a lot of fans with the Ravens have complained about the wide receiver situation. Why didn't they go out and get another guy? And it's like, I don't know if people really realize they had to stack the box for Lamar by himself. And then they got Lamar and Derrick. So now they got to stack the box even more, which opens it up for
Bateman.
For Nelly and Bateman and Mark Andrews. Like, it's going to be very, very interesting and very fun. I think to just see how this offense develops under a second-year Todd Monken as well.
That's why I think the biggest addition to help Rashad Bateman was Tez Walker, because now they finally have a deep threat and they don't have to shove and try to fit Rashad Bateman into this like deep threat role where just because he was the best deep threat they had. Rashad Bateman's his money areas that 5 to 15 intermediate. He's a great route runner. He's going to beat him off the line, get him the ball, and let him go to work. It was just annoying that they felt like because he was the best at going deep, he would just that he was the designated. Okay, we send him deep. Now you have Tez Walker, who's a certified deep threat. That's why he's known for 4.3 speed at 6'4", so just a freak. And they're going to send him deep, and you're going to allow Bateman to work in his more natural and comfortable position on the field.
This comment by Karan. I mean, all of the meat that's going down
Yeah.
into the end. That is a lot of meat. That's gonna be.
Yeah, it's like they're combined for like 550 pounds, I think. No, it's got to be.
Oh, I feel like it's got to even be more.
Because
I mean, it's
tweeted
not.
it. I tweeted it out. Hold on, let me figure it.
It's a lot of meat.
A lot of meat
A lot of meat.
being shoved down their throat.
Yep. And if you beat them off the line, like you said, Zach,
Yeah, let's beat 'em
or
off.
like Nick Moore would say. Another note: Mark Andrews over and under for receiving yards is 750 for this year. So that will be an interesting one. And Mark Andrews obviously is a dynamic weapon, but we're talking about the other players that are on this offense now. And you have Isaiah Likely, where they still haven't coexisted together, playing at the same time, but they have made it at least known that they want to get him more involved. They need, and quite frankly, they should.
Yeah.
But so far, when Mark Andrews plays, Isaiah Likely doesn't seem to have the same impact. When Mark Andrews misses, Isaiah Likely becomes Superman and really is just unbelievable. Mark Andrews' numbers, for those that were wondering over the last few seasons, he was going to break that 750 threshold easy last year if he played the full season. 544 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. In 2022, 847 yards, 1,361 yards in 21. The COVID year in 2020, he had 701, and in 2019, 852. So 4 of the last 5 seasons, he has cleared that threshold. Now it's going to be what the personnel is going to be, who's getting more of the target distribution. And that's all I have to say about that. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with how it looks. But Mark Andrews has been the security blanket for Lamar Jackson.
Without question.
Mm-hmm.
And even though things have changed, that's like with Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. It's like that thing hasn't changed. They might add some pieces. Travis Kelsey is going to get the ball a lot. So,
hey, if Ronnie Stanley becomes eligible in some of these plays, you guys see that? See that earlier this
yeah.
We need some Ronnie TDs, baby. And
Ronnie Stanley is an eligible receiver. Please give me that.
Yeah.
At least just once this season.
Oh boy. Who put that up?
Not me.
It might have been me accidentally. Andy, you know what? It's a very, very good point. Very, very good point. A lot of other things. We could save some more fantasy talk. We just want to kind of have a little impromptu. I know we're going to wrap up here in a little bit. We have some ideas. Are there any other fantasy that are on your mind? Or maybe I should just go through real quickly on some receiving props. Tyreek Hill is the favorite to lead the NFL in receiving this year, plus 600. CeeDee Lamb is 850. Amon-Ra, 1,200. A.J. Brown, plus 1,300. He knows the third highest right now. And it's been a lot of turmoil for this team.
Justin Jefferson.
And I'll tell you what, Sam Darnold might be sneaky fine this year. I think that's, I'll save my pick as we get closer to football season, but I think Justin Jefferson can be way better than people think for fantasy.
I don't
people
know if
forget
he can lead the league in receiving, though.
Okay, when who was his quarterback last year when he came back?
Last year,
Nick Mullins?
Nick Mullins.
Let's take a look at that real quickly. Justin Jefferson's numbers when he came back from his injury is pretty dynamite still, if I say so myself. Let's look at the game logs here in 2023. He had to close out the season. His first game back, where I think he got hurt then and left the game, 2 catches for 27 yards. But after that, 7 for 84, 6 for 141, 5 for 59, and 12 for 192 yards.
But this is Sam Darnold. This is the kid seeing ghosts out there.
No, I still am a Sam Darnold believer.
Yeah. Come on now.
Kid looked rough in pretty much every opportunity he's been given in the NFL. I used to think he could be decent. He is above average, decent backup.
Okay. Well, is he better? Is he better than Nick Mullins?
Yes.
Oh,
he's better than Nick Mullins.
Can he get the ball to Justin? Can he throw the ball?
When the other team has 15 guys on the field because he's seeing ghosts, I'm not sure he's going to think Justin Jefferson's quadruple covered.
Well, you know what? It's okay if he
is.
If he is, it's fine. He's caught the ball before.
I think Sam Darnold is going to be I think the biggest guy that tight end room is going to be the biggest winners of Sam Darnold because they're just going to be checking it down. And it's why am I blanking?
Well, Hawkinson's out for now.
Yeah, but it's Oliver from
Josh Oliver.
Josh Oliver. Yeah, Josh Oliver. Maybe a sneaky fantasy pickup.
Hey, now we'll see. But Justin Jefferson, he's slated to, I believe he's healthy. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. I know a lot of people are high on Jamar Chase because of Joe Burrow being back. A talented player, no doubt about it. But they do have T. Higgins. Since we touched
receiving
on
yards, though, I will say, number one guy I'm taking, Garrett Wilson, plus 1,800.
Yep.
But it's
A-Rod,
all on Aaron Rodgers' play.
A-Rod loves when A-Rod has a receiver he likes. We saw with Devontae Adams.
Yep.
He will just force feed him.
But receiving yards is one thing. Receiving touchdowns, I think, is going to skyrocket for Garrett Wilson. But receiving yards to lead the NFL, or are you saying his own number?
No, I think he has potential to lead the NFL.
Okay, you said plus 1,800. How about Zay Flowers? We talked Mark Andrews. 875.5 is his over/under for the year.
He's going over this year on that, I think.
Yeah,
that's an easy one.
Yeah, if he's healthy, he's got to go over on that. If Lamar Jackson's also.
I mean, he was close to that last year. What was the numbers last year? Is 800? Was 800 yards last year?
Zay Flowers, Zay was, I have it right here. Zay Flowers,
858.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. So he was just below that in his rookie
year. Yeah, I mean, I think he's got 1,000 this year, 1,000 in receiving yards. It's not that much of a stretch from last year, and I think it's very possible.
Yeah, no, he goes over 1,000. I would not even. I've seen a few bigger, I guess, betting pages and betting like the ESPN stuff. They a lot of people taking him over 1,250.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've seen that's a very popular bet. They think that Zay Flowers
1,250 receiving yards.
Yes, because of just the fact of how dynamic he is, and they think because of kind of Brad, like what you're talking about, we already have to stack the box with Derrick Henry. You have to stack the box for Lamar Jackson. If they get the ball to Zay in space, this is a kid that can have average 85 to 100 yards per game.
Could I say why that scares me? Is that AJ Brown's over and under is 1,225.5.
Oh yeah, no, this is like a value pick. This is
Amon Ra is at 1,250.5.
Well, so for AJ Brown, you do have.
I'm not saying this is like a guaranteed
Devontae
pick.
Adams is going to take a lot.
I mean, no shit, it's not.
Yeah, but I'm saying this is. I'm seeing a lot of people are really liking Zay Flowers over 1,250. I've seen it quite a bit. I mean, these are on long shot bets. It's like a bunch of people on 1,250. This isn't like, okay, put your investment money all in this.
We put the studio donations, everything on that. That's what we're gonna do. Which again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. It's the Ryan Ripken Show. We do this every Monday and Thursday normally, but our football schedule, we are gonna have a live show on Sunday. And maybe now's a good time, Brad, real quickly, to talk about what our plans are for this fall.
Yeah, we got a lot of plans going on. One of them going to be live tailgating at the stadium. We're going to do a couple of those. One of them we know that we're going to do for the Bengals game. Then we're also going to be doing a tailgating experience over at Hollywood Casino in
West Virginia,
which is also going to be awesome. And then we got like Ryan was saying, a whole revamp of the studio. There's going to be pool tables. There's going to be jukeboxes.
Oh yeah,
foosball tables
in this economy.
And then the bar as well. I'm super pumped for football season. We will be live pregame every Sunday, not just for home games but away games as well. What do we determine on 9:30 to
10:30 to 11:30. We're gonna have 2 hours.
Yep.
And the other part, so we know right now we don't have everything equipped to do the 2-hour test run today. We were just doing one to say, hey, get up with us. It's Saturday. We're having a great time. And we wanted you guys to be a part of this first little experiment. But when we have the studio is going to look a lot different. The bar setup is going to be here, which will become kind of the new studio set. The pool table, the foosball, our other giveaway options. So our studio is going to become live parts of our actual content, which will hopefully benefit all the ones that watch, Brad. That's really what we're trying to do here. And on top of it, having people going, our crew, boots on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
That is going to be something we're really, really excited about. And obviously, we're going to have a lot of fun with certain guests that come in. We'll have the big board up. Maybe we'll have some people break down some big moments. And we'll talk about key things as they approach. But make sure that you guys are liked and subscribed to the channel because we have so much more in place. And one of those giveaways, like we said earlier, that's a fact, already in store. We already have it set, is the Deep Eddy Vodka giveaways for the fall. Oh, yeah. Every Ravens home game, make sure, tell a friend that they should be liked and subscribed to the Ryan Ripken Show because they are not going to want to miss the giveaways we're going to have with Deep Eddy.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I know that there's a lot of other pregame shows and stuff like that goes on, but listen, I think that we're just going to have the most fun. That's just going to be the fact.
And you know what? The thing is, there's a lot of great content people out there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. We just want to try to bring you guys
something different,
an element of Baltimore. We will talk a lot of things with Ravens, but we're also are going to be sitting here. We'll have some of our favorite bets. Zach will be cooking up a parlay that may or may not hit, but it only takes one to get going. But we'll have that. We'll have insight. We'll have good analysis on what's going to be happening with the game. But it's Sundays. I always enjoyed for football Sundays the tailgate feel. You're excited about being out with your friends, your family, and you're excited that football's back. We want you to feel that every time you turn on the channel for us. They're join YouTube so you can see it. So stay tuned for more with that.
Also, it's not NFL related, but we are officially 1 week away from college football starting, and that is crazy.
Woo!
And they're ranked teams playing next Saturday. Like it's gonna be fun.
My sister's trying to get me out for the Buffaloes opener.
I know. I'm so excited. Football is so back.
When's that one? When's the Buffalo? Is that Saturday? Buffs opener?
They open up on a Thursday, I think. Thursday or Friday in Colorado. And also the Orioles are playing the Rockies that same week. But I got Baltimore baseball tonight here on 105.7 The Fan. So unless I can get the rights to boots on the ground out there in Colorado, looks like I'll be watching it from here. But we'll have stuff with football-wise. Also, Stop Traffic, our fall plans. I think we're diving into a little bit of the University of Maryland.
Yes.
And a couple of those things are starting. I don't know, maybe next week, Brad.
Next week
we might be diving in.
As soon as.
So we're excited about that.
That first Colorado game, I forgot it was versus North Dakota State.
That's a tough
low-key
game.
Going to be electric.
It's going to be a great game.
That's going to be a fantastic game.
That is going to be a great game. I'm really excited about that. And yes, hey now, University of Maryland, we're slowly creeping down outside of the confines of Baltimore. Well, maybe
South.
And South.
Yeah,
all right, guys, any other thoughts, concerns before we get on out of here?
Nope.
Do you have any other content plans that we
I
want to talk about?
I don't think you well, I was just going to say just a random prediction because you can't bet touchdown scores on this game. I already tried, people. I just feel like Tez Walker finds it. He didn't play much week one. He only got a few snaps, but I'm thinking the rookie makes an impact today. That's who I'm hoping to see. And also Rasheen Ali. We need to back on the saddle today.
What was that?
Rasheen Ali. Rasheen Ali, we're getting
No,
it
not
going.
that.
Go Herd.
That's why. That's it. All right, guys. I can't wait to see what's in store. Heading over to the game ourselves. We're going to check it out. Maybe we'll give you some live updates, so stay tuned. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll have our baseball coverage as always. Kevin and Zach Reacts will be on live after the Orioles game and the Ravens game.
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah. We'll be doing
Tentatively?
stuff after the Ravens game as well.
All right. So that'll be on. That's a part of the Ryan Ripken Media Network, or Empire, as Kevin likes to call it. We got a lot planned. We're excited to do this with you guys. Have a great Saturday. Do we cue the music to get out of here, or we just get on out of here?
Let's just get out of here.
Let's just get on out of here.
Skedaddle.
Happy Saturday. We will talk soon. Have a day, have a night. Go Birds, Ravens, NOs, and we will talk to you soon.